Back up where? I'm like, okay. if
Oh, it's
it.
Beth's? No. I just
Okay.
I wanted to talk to Lisa. I've got a couple mics that are not working well with each other. I only have 4 out of the 6, so we may have to make some adjustments.
Okay.
Which they were working earlier, and now they're not. So I don't know.
I mean, I guess you
Well, I think there's almost 3 candidates, right? At the same time. 5 on the panel at the same time.
what time is it? I did 1 meeting.
So I was told Maria's the backup.
Okay.
I'm not sure who I need to pass this on to, but JD Marler's going to be able to pass that on.
I'll have to get it right.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Daniel, by the way.
Natalie, nice to meet you. Do you work specifically here? Or?
No, I'm providing services.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, I'm going to run down to my vehicle real quick and get a couple of.
Yes and no. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I know you talked about podium, no podium. Do you? Okay. This wasn't requested by me, but it was yours. So something like that. Okay. Well, just like to put your stuff, put your somewhere else. Your spirit and personality will take the stage. I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
But like, I know that I am.
It is what it is. My only ask, no, you're fine. My only ask of you is that at least one time you walk by the camera, you stop and pose with people. That's my one request.
But I don't think I'll be friends that way.
Well, I want you to do that at least once. Like just walk by and look side. Yeah. Something like that.
I'll just like,
hair.
I'll do the,
Just one.
Belinda talk shop.
If you would do that, you'd see.
Are you seeing it? I hope
It says if you're done, everybody was doing so that's what everyone had to share. Yep. So, you're ready. We're doing it. Ready, Chadwick?
Hey everyone, we're gonna get started. If you want to grab your seats.
You got it.
All right, my name is Sarah Grace Cliff. I am the chairwoman of the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce's Young Professionals. I would like to I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight at the YP Political Polls Candidate Forum. Tonight's event is all about ensuring that our voices are heard. As young professionals, we are invested in the future of Bay County, and this forum will provide a unique opportunity to hear directly from the candidates who are running in the April 22nd election. Their decisions will impact our careers, our businesses, and our quality of life. So it is essential that we take the time to listen, engage, and make informed decisions at the ballot box. Before we get started, I would like to take a moment and express my gratitude for our partnering organizations. The Bay Young Professionals, y'all wanna say hey, whoever y'all are. The BBIA Young Professionals, and the Panama City Beach Chamber Young Professionals. Okay. This event is a true example of collaboration and action, bringing together young leaders who are committed to making a difference in our community. I would also like to extend a special thank you to a few key individuals and organizations who helped make tonight possible. Thank you to Jason Kretzer and the Bay Arts Alliance for generously allowing us to use this fantastic space. Jason, how are you? Perfect, thank you. Thank you to Daniel Henderson and BFG Productions for graciously supplying the AV equipment that makes tonight's event run smoothly. Daniel. Perfect. And of course, a thank you to Paul Corbin and Coke for providing us with beverages to keep us energized throughout tonight's event. Your support is invaluable, and we truly appreciate your generosity. So speaking of Coke and food, there's some snacks and drinks in the back. Feel free to get up and get a snack whenever. Now I would like to introduce our moderators for the evening. Chad Overby, he's the chairman of BYP and BBIAYP. Chad. And then we have Lisa Moore, who is the director of foundation of the Bay County Chamber of Commerce, and she also does a fantastic job with BayYP. So Lisa. Chad and Lisa will be guiding tonight's discussion as we hear from our candidates and learn more about their platforms and perspectives. So we're just going to go over a few little housekeeping, good information to know for tonight. So all candidates running in the April 22nd election were invited to participate tonight. Lynn Haven Commission candidates will go first, followed by Panama City candidates, and ending with Panama City Mayor. Candidates will be seated in alphabetical order. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to give an introduction. The order in which candidates are asked questions will rotate. Each panel will be asked 4 questions regarding matters related to young professionals. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond to each question. We'd like to invite the candidates to stick around until the end of the panels to speak one-on-one with the young professionals in attendance. We ask that all responses remain positive and professional. This is about discussing the issues, not attacking opponents. With that said, let's get started. Tonight we will kick off the forum with the candidates for Lynn Haven City Commission, if you guys would like to make your way to the front. These leaders are stepping up to shape the future of our community, and we appreciate their willingness to engage with us this evening. Thank you. First, we'll have Lynn Haven Commissioner seat 3. We have Jamie Warwick and Johnny Bashir. Following that, we'll have Lynn Haven Commissioner seat 4, Jamie Marler and Jeff Snyder. Thank you all for being here and for your commitment to serving the people of Lynn Haven. Let's get started with introductions.
I'm Johnny Bashir. I'm running for Lynn Haven Commission seat 3. I'm a lifelong resident of Lynn Haven. So I'm running for office mainly because I want to see the city move forward. I'm tired of seeing us kind of stuck in a holding pattern and looking at things in the past. So I want to move us forward in a positive way to make sure we get things done. I am retired, so I have full time to dedicate to Lynn Haven, and I will do just that. That's what will be my primary job, will be working for the citizens of Lynn Haven. Thank you.
So, I don't know if you need to reset that. You take more time? I'll make mine quick. My name is Jamie Warwick. I'm running for re-election for Lynn Haven City Commissioner, seat 4. I'm actually not originally from here. I'm originally from a little town, Fort Myers, New York, about 3,500 people, and joined the Air Force after graduating from high school, where I spent 23 years. And when Tyndall's what brought me here, but it wasn't my last base, next to last base. And when I decided to retire, me and my wife, the first question we were trying to figure out is where we wanted to retire at, and the first answer was not New York, because cost of living is pretty high up there, and we like this area because of that, and we like the weather, and this felt most like home. So we decided to come back here, and this is going to be our forever home, and community service is something that's big with me. I feel like doing this as a community service, and I have a lot to offer with the leadership skills that I developed in the military.
Good evening, my name is Jeff Snyder. I'm running for seat 4 in Lynn Haven. I have lived in Lynn Haven since 1990. Grew up there, got to grow up alongside my city. It's been a really neat experience. I have served the city faithfully for the last 6 years on Lynn Haven Planning Board, including 2 terms as chairman, and I am anxious to get started and earn support. Thank you.
I apologize in advance. My 2-year-old has type 1 diabetes, and I had it today, and it should have crashed the last second, so I ran a little late. But my name is Jamie Warner, and I'm running for Lynn Haven Commission seat 4. And the reason that I'm here is because of my son. He is near and dear to me, and I want him to be able to grow up in the city of Lynn Haven and continue to raise a family, here, and where I don't have to travel out of town to meet my grandkids.
All right, Canada, share this. Question is for you first, and then it'll rotate down. The skilled labor shortage is a major challenge in the construction and housing industry. What policies or initiatives will you support to attract and retain a strong workforce in Bay County?
That's a good question. I hadn't thought about it immensely, but as far as getting young people engaged, part of here is we lose a lot of our people that go to Gulf Coast College. They move out of the area because there's a lack of opportunity. So opportunity is very important. So the city needs to make sure, one, we have housing available for people that are in income brackets, because housing is very important, very expensive. So we need in Lynn Haven to work toward getting more affordable housing, where the median price may be $350,000, $400,000 per house, and we don't have a lot of rentals available. So as we move forward, I would like to see more multifamily and more apartment buildings made that would support a young workforce. I think we have the tech schools here that would help create that workforce, but mainly is to keep people here. We have amenities that are very nice. People love to come here and live here, but it's very expensive to live here. So we really have to work on making it affordable for people to live here. Thank you.
So we're very fortunate here. We have the Haney Technical Institute to kind of help us with that. And as far as city perspective, what can we do to kind of help support people that want to go in those type of trades is try to come up with some incentives to bring those businesses into Lynn Haven. The more businesses we bring in, obviously, the more people will do those type of trades. One of the things that we're very fortunate to have is we have an industrial park in Lynn Haven where we have a manufacturing type of business. Not, it's light manufacturing, but it has those type of jobs. And it's ironic because later tomorrow and later this month we're voting on a map overlap thing that net revenue to the city. So helping to protect those businesses and coming up with incentives to bring those type of businesses, I think is a good way to help flourish those type of trades that come in.
We're going to need to, one of the things that I try to drive home is the city has to be mindful of growth and responsible growth. It's a balance of keeping Lynn Haven a family-oriented town. We can also mix that with responsible growth. We need the opportunities for, our children, the younger generation to remain here. And in past history, a lot of people have had to move out of Lynn Haven to find careers or find jobs. And it's a shame, it's such a beautiful place to live, not to be able to stay here and find a career. So as a city, we need to be prepared. It goes right along with what I've talked about before, and that's for the right intentions, not kicking the can down the road. So infrastructure, roads, everything has to be to match, for growth. In other words, we have to stay ahead of it. And if we can do that, and as Mr. Ward was saying, entice a business to be here, we have to have a mix of both, and that's the whole
You guys weren't kidding about the cowbell. So again, this is going to be a holistic approach. The stat that's been thrown out by Mr. Mike Rose that in upwards of 50% of all skilled labor and trades are going to be retiring in the next 10 to 15 years. And so what we have to do as a city is we have to create an environment that attracts businesses, that attracts professionals. That's going to mean responsible growth, smart growth. It's going to mean helping to facilitate the pipeline from our high schools to our trade schools. We've got a fantastic facility there at Tom B. Haney, and it sits right on the edge of Lynn Haven. And so getting folks into those programs and creating incentives, like has been mentioned, I think is something that we should explore to no end. But then, bringing it home, we've got to make sure that we are creating an environment that's conducive for growth, that's conducive for people growing families and building lives within the Haven.
All right, Commissioner Ward, we're going to start with you for our next question. Young professionals are a growing part of our workforce and community. What steps will you take to ensure that they have a voice in city decisions and opportunities to contribute to local leadership?
So, one of the things that our mayor started, which I thought was a great thing, was trying to youth council, and starting things like that to get young people involved. I think would help with that. I know there's actually a couple young kids I know that actually watch city commission meetings, and I talk to them from time to time. So that's nice to know. When you see kids like that, to reach out to them, try to get them interested in being involved, getting involved in high school activities and things like that. And then encourage them if they want to get into city politics afterwards, get on a board, get on a committee. Heck, not that I'm endorsing anybody, but we have a young individual running for office in Panama City. I think he's only 25 years old, and I think that's outstanding. And I think that the more younger people we get involved, the better, because it creates more ideas. No comment?
No.
Thank you. Yeah, we have some fantastic local schools. I think most people know that. The more involved that we are as city government in our schools and our young folks, get them involved in city government activities, the better. We have great colleges here. We have Haney, so there's a lot of choices for young adults to find careers, whether it be a technical degree or a college degree. And we need to to make sure that we are set up for them to be able to stay here with business and industry. And, you know, it's our responsibility to maintain that relationship and foster a relationship between young adults and city government. I think the more that we foster a positive attitude within our commission, the better. And we'll make them more enticed to be more involved with it. Thank you.
This is going to be a lot of fun. So first and foremost, we've got to do a great job of letting people know that they've got a seat at the table, whether they be young professionals, all the way through the age spectrum. The other thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we're creating opportunities for people to get involved, whether that be advisory boards. One of the things that I envision when elected is creating a dialogue, a running dialogue with every citizen, where they can know what my thoughts are prior to the meetings, and I can communicate their thoughts when the meetings begin. Again, it's about fostering relationships. That's the initiative that I chose, was the relationship between our schools and our government, and that's one of the things I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I would like to mirror what said. One is that we show respect to each other during our meetings, so that people, when they come to our meetings, see what responsible government looks like and how it gets along and how we negotiate with one another as we move forward. Nobody wants to come to contentious meetings, certainly. We need to get out as individuals in the community and meet y'all where you're at. Meaning we need to go to functions that are important to young adults and show them that we're there for support and field their questions. And hopefully harbor some incentive for them to join with the government and start working with us to achieve the things that are important to young adults. I think that would go a long way in getting people engaged. We suffer from engagement from all across the spectrum right now. Our meetings, attendance is very poor, voter turnout is very poor, and we need to address that as people are younger and get you involved in city government. There's opportunity there, and certainly people in city government would love to see you come out and help and support us where you can, because that gets you involved and helps the whole community.
Candidate Marler, this next question is for you. The non-binding referendums on the ballot regarding the future of the Lynn Haven Public Library has sparked community discussion. What is your position on this issue, and how do you feel the city should move forward in a way that best benefits residents?
So we had, the catastrophe of Hurricane Michael, unfortunately, and our library was severely damaged. I think most people are in favor of a library. I think it's the type of library that we end up with. I think we need more of a hybrid. We used to use the hardback books in our hands. Younger adults are used to computer labs and those type of things. So we have to find a mix of the two that's appropriate for everyone, for our senior citizens and young adults. And we need to find an existing building. I think we need to cooperate with the regional library. That's my opinion. I think if we do build a freestanding library in Lynn Haven, it needs to be considered, but we need to consider how that's paid down. I'm more in line of paying that down before we do those kind of things. Thank you.
So my position on the library is that absent everything else, it's a wonderful amenity, and I think it should be explored. At this point, with the debt load that the city has, I think that debt retirement needs to be prioritized ahead of that. And we've got some other major projects that are coming down the line that need to be prioritized ahead of the library. Now, once we reach a place of economic sustainability and we can begin to work on amenities, then I think that the library should be near the top of the list, because it's one of the things that I know that my wife and my children desperately want a library. They want a place to go where they can have story time, where they can do research, where they can do all the things that we used to do at a library when we were growing up. The fact is that we have a wonderful library, right? It's like 8 miles from my front door. So my hope is that we could partner with the regional library system and then, like Mr. Marlowe mentioned, utilize the existing structure.
Yes, so I've talked to a lot of people, and I don't think I've talked to anybody that does not want a library. It comes down to being responsible with their finances. A lot of people don't want to spend the money on the library when they're $30 million in debt or so right now. So that's a major concern. Partnering with Northwest Regional is certainly an excellent opportunity. I think that for the citizens of Lynn Haven that really want a library, that really are passionate about a library, it might be worthwhile to look at opening a foundation or something along those lines where we could partner with them and they could fundraise and actually work towards getting us involved in that library and show us the support in that manner also. The referendum, if they come out and say, we really want a library, that's what we're going to do. We'll just have to find out how we're going to pay for it. Times have changed. I grew up reading encyclopedias in the local library, just sitting and reading whatever was there to read. I do think times have changed some, but y'all know better than I do on that. If you're younger than I am, I'm from the generation that we had the books we read. Playing good one time when I couldn't read, I realized I couldn't see anymore.
So yeah, I know I think we're all unanimous that the citizens want a library. It's a matter of you want to pay for it or not, because it's going to affect, as far as how much they pay and the ad valorem taxes and that. So one of the things we got to look at is our sewer plant. Our sewer plant reached a certain capacity where the state has gotten involved, and now we have to either expand our current sewer plant or we're going to maybe hook up to the one that's down the road where the county owns. And if we expand our current sewer plant, it's over $50 million bill. So, but I think we might be able to get creative on some of these things, and I think one of the answers might be public-private partnerships. If we can get a public-private partnership of a business that put their name on it, we see that all the time with some of these what do you call them, auditoriums that they have, where someone donates to it and things like that. We might be able to work out a solution like that.
All right, gentlemen, our final question for you for the evening. Supporting young entrepreneurs is key to fostering innovation and economic growth. What specific incentives, programs, or resources do you or would you support to help young professionals start, grow, or sustain businesses in your community? We're going to start with the Andy Snyder.
Yeah, small business is the backbone of our economy. It's one that has to be encouraged and fostered. Specifically, I would be willing to entertain and explore incentives regarding property taxes, incentives for revitalizing structures, helping businesses get up and running. We have a wonderful, I think it's still a business, but the small business incubator that we had in Lynn Haven for years. And it was a place that businesses could go and just have space for them to get up, get off the ground, and then branch out. And I think Yesco Scouting is one of those success stories. So just creating an environment where there's no bad solutions, there's no bad questions. All hands on deck. Let's get after it, because the more business that we can bring, the better off we're going to be.
Yes, the Small Business Incubator was an excellent resource for entrepreneurs starting businesses near Lynn Haven or in Panama City. It's unfortunate that it's no longer available. If that's the case, I can't speak for certain, but I haven't seen it since the hurricane, so I assume it went out of business itself. But as a city, we do have a business development administrator, and maybe we need to get him to be more concentrated on entrepreneurialism instead of larger businesses. Although larger businesses do bring a lot of income and a lot of employment to the city. But as far as entrepreneurs are concerned, we need to set up some type of program where people new to business don't have to navigate the governmental issues of setting up businesses. I've set up several myself, and it's not terribly difficult, but it's involved, and people are afraid to do that sometimes. And when you're first starting out business, you need all the help you can get to check the boxes and make sure you're following all the rules and regulations and are successful.
So normally when it gets to this point, you already got all the answers, right? We do have some small incentives in like our CRA area, as far as funding in that. Maybe we could beef it up a little bit for young entrepreneurs. I don't know, something to look at. But maybe another thing is, our economic development person, maybe they can get involved in going to the high school and talking to young entrepreneurs, going to the Technical Institute, and getting feedback from them as far as what hurdles they're going through, what they need help with, and networking them with certain people to kind of help them become successful. The other one might be publicity, I know we already do that whenever a new business opens up, but maybe, when you get a young entrepreneur, publicize that out so that it might become contagious, and then it'll drive other young entrepreneurs to come in and open a business.
Yes, when it comes to this, I got a little different take on it. And it's a combination of all the things that we've kind of talked about. And the city has to make it easy for business to do business with the city of Lynn Haven, so to speak. We want to make sure that we are responsible with the growth, but we want to make sure that we make it enticing and easy enough for people to come in and start new business. For how we foster a relationship with younger adults, it's just being active with them and promoting business within the city. But you can't do that if you're not prepared to do it. So it's really a combination of all the above. As a city, we have to be ready for it. And as we talked about before with infrastructure, roads, CR is a big part of it, and we could expand on that, but we have to be involved more than anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much. We're going to move on to Panama City now. Like I said, we encourage you all to stay afterwards and network with some of these young professionals in the room. If y'all go okay with them. Give us just a second while we pull up these seats for Panama City.
We appreciate your dedication to serving Panama City. We look forward to hearing your perspectives on the issues that matter most. And let's begin introductions. Robbie, we'll start with you.
Thank you. My name is Robert Hughes. I'm thankful for what you guys have had this night. I'm a lifelong resident of Panama City. I love where I live, work, and play. I've been in business in the real estate community for over 32 years. I've owned my own business. I'm also a partner in my current real estate company. I believe in education, and I believe in plan development. But I also believe in communication with our citizens so that we do not catch them off guard about what we're getting ready to do. We want this. I don't want that calendar.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much to the young professionals for hosting this. It's so nice to look out into an audience that looks more like me. Very, very nice. No offense to anybody, but it's very, very nice to have the young people involved. My name is Daniel Schultz. I've been a lifelong member of the Cove of Panama City. I graduated from Bay High School, Gulf Coast State College, and Florida State in Tallahassee. I have a bachelor's in political science. I stopped a paid parking ordinance for downtown over the summer, and now I am running to be your next commissioner.
I'm going to speak real loud because they told me they weren't going to give me a microphone. I'm Ed Young. Been here since 1982 with the Air Force. Raised 4 beautiful daughters here. They're all young professionals, just like you. I have a speech pathologist in Tallahassee, a biologist here in Panama City. I have a cosmetologist here in Panama City, and our final daughters obtained in nursing from Gulf Coast.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Demetrius Reese. I'm actually a recent resident for the city of Panama City. Relocated from Atlanta, Georgia, about 2 years, around mid-May. My background in education is in architecture. I have 10 plus years working with various architects, engineers, and building suppliers. And my wife and our full board is relocated here, and we've loved it since. So, thank you.
My name is Josh Street. I'm the current commissioner for City of Panama City, Ward 4. Lifelong resident. I have 3 beautiful children. I've been married for 21 years. And I'm here running because I'm trying to create more opportunities for young professionals like yourself. I think we've got a great future ahead as a city, and I want to be a part of helping shape that so that my kids and you have more opportunities than I did growing up. Our city's a great place to live, and it can be an even better place to work.
All right, Candidate Hughes, the first question is for you. There's been a lot of focus on challenges facing downtown Panama City and St. Andrews. What do you consider to be the biggest challenges in other areas of the city, and how do you plan to address them?
Great question. Other areas of the city would include Millville, would include Forest Park, would include areas that we don't have road construction going right now. The larger problem is housing, or where we're going to put the young professionals. It's harder for you guys to buy a house right now. That's an interest rate driven problem. It's also a value driven problem, because remember, we've had a lot of people come in from out of town that have also helped drive the prices up because they see our real estate as cheap. Not necessarily cheap, but it is to them. So today I see that if we pass good ordinances that will allow people to come back here and go into business, give them a reason to come back home after they graduate from high school or college. And that way we can have educated people with incentivized businesses, and then they can go into those neighborhoods, open up businesses, and then expand out and make those areas grow a little bit better.
Would you repeat the question?
Sure. There's been a lot of focus on challenges facing downtown Panama City and St. Andrews. What do you consider to be the biggest challenges in other areas of the city, and how do you plan to address them?
Well, without a doubt, it is infrastructure. I mean, when you look anywhere around the city, I mean, I feel like that's a topic that I don't talk about because it's a topic that everybody already knows about. I mean, it is just a concrete problem that we have across the city. I met a gentleman while I was out walking in Millville. He's 90 years old. He was on his porch when they laid the pipe 70 years ago on his street. And I said, and sir, bless your heart, I said, and it hasn't been changed in 70 years. I said, there are some areas in Millville where the streets are literally caving in from a lack of infrastructure and a lack of involvement from the city in those areas. I believe it's important that we need to continue to renovate Millville and these areas. Infrastructure, without a doubt, is a top priority. We are prioritizing beautification in many areas where we could be prioritizing infrastructure. I want this area to be long-lasting, an area for generations to come.
Infrastructure and housing are the two biggest issues in other parts of downtown, other than St. Andrews and downtown Panama City. And we can't paint you a rosy picture that government has the answer for that anytime soon. This delay of maintenance of infrastructure it doesn't rest on the shoulders of those who are currently in the city commission or in the city manager's position. This can has been kicked down the road for decades. It is finally caught up, and it's a problem. As far as housing, in my lifetime, I know of no other time when the cost of living for you young professionals used to be 25% of your monthly income when I was growing up. If you spent more than that, you were living above your means. Now you have to spend 60 to 70% of your monthly income on your domicile. That's not going to be fixed anytime soon either. So the answers for these aren't quick and easy. Government doesn't have all the answers. Hopefully, if our economy strengthens, it will work on that and correct itself.
I would definitely say our city's infrastructure is a top priority between downtown St. Andrews and downtown Panama City. We can see the city sidewalks, utilities, infrastructure, even outdated telecommunication lines. It's been neglected for decades, and likely will be unless the city takes some type of extreme action to remediate that. So I definitely focusing on all of our city's infrastructure. It's not just certain specific areas such as downtown St. Andrews and CRA districts will benefit all the people in Panama City and provide a more equitable, more or less quality of life.
When I came into office, there were a slew of problems. We had 85 flooded homes. We had infrastructure that was leaking daily into our bays and our waters. And so we put together an infrastructure map called the heat map, and we started working those projects one by one in the ward that I represent. Now I represent a district that's got 35% under construction right now. It's an incredible amount of effort that's happened in the district I represent, and now it's time to move on to the other areas of the cities as well. And so what does that look like? Well, it looks like being creative with getting infrastructure fixed, whether that be with the CDD inside of Sweet Bay that's covering almost half the city, with infrastructure repairs and funding being dedicated to the Forest Park Mobility Plan, or whether it's in Glenwood supporting a $20 million grant that we're currently competing for to see infrastructure improve, or supporting with FDOT to remove median islands that are keeping economic development from happening on MLK Boulevard. These are the things that it takes, and being a team is absolutely what's the responsibility of the commission, and I'm happy to be a part of one that I think is really good.
All right, Rachel, we're going to start with you on this one. Young professionals are eager to contribute some meaningful change, but often struggle to find avenues to get involved. How can we better engage in shaping policies that will directly impact us?
I could not think of a better question to ask me. So let me tell you about how I got involved in local politics. So over the summer, like many of you, I have been disillusioned with my local government for many years. And over the summer, I spent a lot of time downtown, and the city commission wanted to pass a paid parking ordinance for downtown that would have made Harrison Avenue and side streets paid for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they were partnering with a company who would have managed it, who would have made 60% of the total profits. As someone who was downtown regularly, I spoke with business owners who were incredibly concerned, as well as other musicians who were incredibly concerned about what this could do to our downtown that we have just built up so beautifully. I made flyers. I used social media, something I'm sure we're all familiar with, to draw up support, to attempt to get the current commission to listen. We did that. We were able to overturn every single vote, and we were able to stop paid parking here in Panama City.
Mentorships in high schools, even down to the middle school level, we've lost in my lifetime the civic duty and civic responsibility and the civic education of our youth through our public schools program. It has been lost. As my daughters were being brought up in the Bay County public school systems, my wife and I would take the time in the evening to bolster whatever they were learning, because as we would ask questions about, well, did you learn about one aspect or another of government? the three branches or the divisions or the powers. And they were lacking. And it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their teacher's fault. It was the curriculum's fault. So parental involvement at an early age, transferring to mentorships for those through the city commission. It could be through the city manager's office. It could be through the county's commission system. But reaching out and initiating the contact to the young professional to become involved at a much earlier age and not waiting until you have to fight the government for something, but be proactive on the one side.
Could you repeat the question one more time?
Young professionals are eager to contribute to meaningful change, but often struggle to find avenues to get involved. How can we better engage in shaping policies that will directly impact us?
So there's a plethora of different avenues that we, as a city, could take to better engage and encourage our young professionals to get involved with local politics. I know from personal experience, I was actually wrongfully terminated for running for the city of Panama City, Commissioner Ward 4. I actually worked as a project designer in an architecture engineering firm, and despite the encouragement of my employer, they also decided to terminate me January 24th of this year. So things where you're intimidating certain candidates, it's just not the way to do it. So I think we have to look at it from a sincere lens and truly encourage our youth. So, thank you.
I'm not sure what that comment was addressing, but I'm certainly sorry that happened to you, Demetrius. I think that really at the end of the day, young people have got to be involved. First step is voting. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. And that's what gives you a seat at the table in those things. And advocating for things just like Daniel talked about, whether it be against paid parking or for projects like the Martin Theater, a beach drive sidewalk, other opportunities that you can see where you can engage inside of municipal government. It takes people to be involved. Every single project that comes forward to the commission without public support will not succeed without public support. And a lot of that comes from young people. So in the municipal election, people that are 65 and older are 25 times more represented than younger populations. That's because young people are not involved in in local politics, and it's what's affecting your life the most.
20 years ago, I wanted to get involved. Somebody said, go to the meetings, code enforcement, go to planning board meetings, go to county commission and city commission meetings. That's where it's happening. We didn't have YouTube back then, so I couldn't sit at home and watch the meeting. I had to go physically sit in the meeting. If you want to do that, that's how you learn. That's really where they are making policy here. If you want to be involved, you got to be in the know. You got to have an understanding. That's where the real facts are talked about, not things that are spread on the internet. So I would encourage you to go to a planning board meeting, whatever city you're in. Go to the county planning board meeting. Those have taken me to. I've sat on Panama City's planning board. I've sat on Panama City's code enforcement. Currently sitting on the planning board meeting for Bay County. That's because I took the time to listen. I took the time to be engaged, and I went and asked if I could be involved. There's a process. They have to vote on you. And they believed me enough because they saw me coming around. If you want to know, go get information, and you can take that information with you and become involved.
Candy, got this question's for you. What is your stance on the transportation impact fee, and how do you see it affecting housing affordability, economic growth, and future development in our area?
Transportation impact fee is a recent effort within the last 12 months from the city of Panama City. There's a Florida state statute that allows cities to adopt ordinances to create fees that they can charge both individual homeowners and developers for transportation. I can tell you what it can't be used for. It can't be used for maintenance and repairs. Well, that's what we have a drastic need of, is maintenance and repairs of roads. It can be used for new roads, but cities don't build new roads. Cities accept roads from developers after they build a neighborhood. Developers build the roads. Counties and state build roads, but cities don't build roads. So the transportation impact fee would stifle growth, stifle construction. It'll add $3,500 to the permit of a residential home in Panama City, $4,500 to a permit in Panama City North, $500,000 to a grocery store, $94,000 to a doctor's office if you want to build these things. It will stifle and cut growth. I'm against it.
I also am against transportation impact fees, essentially because it just discourages economic diversity and economic growth, for lack of better words. As we grow as a population within the city, it's important to not just grow our infrastructure and our roads, but also the opportunity for businesses to flourish. And I feel as though the transportation impact fee would not do that. It wouldn't benefit anybody, individuals or businesses. I think that more or less the fees associated with these new proposed transportation impact fees, they're just ridiculous. None of which makes any sense. You have gas stations that really charge easily over $500,000 for the sake of just being new development. So I'm against transportation impact fees.
I agree with my counterparts, but I do have to ask the question: is like, is our road system adequate to the growth that we both have today, as well as what we'll have in the future? And I think the answer to that is a resounding no. And so then the question is, how do we improve the infrastructure that we have today? And I think that does involve adding lanes to roads, maybe Lisbon Avenue, maybe Frankfurt Avenue, maybe some sidewalks where our city has hardly any sidewalks across it. I think that there's some very strategic things that we need to look at. But the current way that the ordinance is structured, as well as the fee structure is, you can't answer that question. So if I can't tell where a tax dollar is going to go, it's really difficult for me to support creating that tax. And so for me right now, no, the answer is no.
I'm glad the Commissioner Street used the word tax. I don't like taxes. Taxes are bad. It's a user fee maybe. Now, they talked a little bit about road construction. If I'm going to develop a piece of property and bring 50 new cars onto the roads, maybe I do need to have some skin in the game to put a turn lane in or have something in a traffic light. But for me to add on to my house, just because I do it, I have to have a tax for that. I'm not adding more people or cars to the road. That's how the initial ordinance came in. But more importantly, the initial ordinance came into the second reading and nobody knew about it. And it got all the way to where it was almost there. And when it got stopped and we had to have a special meeting, I think everybody sitting at this table was there. We filled the room because we were all concerned about it. You should be concerned about that. Let's tell the people from City Hall what we're trying to accomplish, and therefore we all have a say-so in it. Taxes are bad. User fees, maybe when we have development going, it will help us.
In terms of the proposed impact fees, I'm also against it. I have been following this closely through several workshops, and I've been talking with the city manager as well as the city commission to follow it. For just what Mr. Street said, for government to collect money, you have to show me where that money will go towards. And if you go back and watch these workshops, there is not a concrete answer from City Hall as to where this extra revenue would go. We cannot use it to maintain current roads and infrastructure. It would only be new projects. So the argument that I heard over and over again in the meeting was that we could make a designated turn lane with this money. But that's really the only thing I heard. So if we're collecting all of this money to sit into a pot on the off chance that we might add a designated turn lane, I'm just not sure that it is the right choice. I'm incredibly concerned about small time developers and what it could do to their business.
All right, our final question, candidate Reese, we start with you. Attracting new businesses and industries is essential for economic growth, but it's just as important to support the local businesses that have already invested in our community. What is your plan to achieve this balance in Panama City?
So I believe, as of now, my understanding is that our permitting process within the city is pretty outdated and pretty insufficient. I hear numerous cases from my friends, neighbors, and various people that have applied rides for during my employment that whenever they're trying to start a new business, or in particular St. Andrews or downtown Panama City, they run into so many hoops and hurdles and different obstacles that essentially discourage them or prohibit them from actually starting that small business. So I think cutting the red tape more or less and making it more fair or equitable for small business, medium-sized businesses, family business to start off is crucial.
I think the backbone of any economy is small business. And particularly having local businesses are locally invested. They support our sports teams. They support the activities that we do as a community. They have a unique flair and flavor to them. I think that's a thing that we want to encourage. While corporations can bring good things to communities, they can also bring a lot of bad things. And so if we've got an incentive for some large business, it should extend to a small business. If we've got a permitting process, it should be treated fairly across the board. I do agree that we do need streamlining of permits and make it easier to not only start a business in the city of Panama City, but also grow one. Those two things can be very challenging as entrepreneurs and risky. The last thing we want is government to be a factor in that. So creating a stable environment that's focused on customer service and focused on helping people to achieve the dreams that they have is absolutely the responsibility of government, and I think that we can do a better job.
Existing or new businesses are only as strong as their workforce, and an educated workforce is a must. From the public school system to Haney, which was talked about earlier, my son is a graduate of Haney, to Gulf Coast State College in Florida State. Florida State has even opened up their own school so that it helps feed to the Florida State campus. If we have the educated people, now we have the new businesses that want to come into town. They're looking for the workforce. I personally have interacted with Panama City on business-wise for permits, and it is sometimes a catastrophe. But remember, the longer they take, the more the interest meter runs 24/7 when we're trying to get that permit to build the house, start the business. So we need to streamline that and make sure that I can walk in and walk out within a week maybe. There's some cities in the state that are a day. Let's make it easy. Let's be business friendly. Let's be business minded so that when people are looking in from the outside in, they want to come to Panama City because of our workforce and our permitting processes are easier to do.
Would you repeat the question?
Yes. Attracting new businesses and industries is essential for economic growth, but it's just as important to support the local businesses that have already invested in our community. What is your plan to achieve this balance in Panama City?
This is a great one. So it starts with having an open door at City Hall, something that I don't believe is often accomplished. When paid parking happened, it was clear that none of the commissioners had went to Harrison Avenue and walked through businesses on Harrison Avenue. Business owners expressed to me a wide lack of communication from City Hall to them during that process. If we can keep the door open to businesses, listen to what they need, we can do incredible things. We have something incredible down here on Harrison Avenue. We've made something beautiful, but it is very fragile at the same time. Something like this could slip away just as easily as we've made it. We need a commissioner who can prioritize listening to downtown business owners, promoting their needs above all else, above outside interests, and push for local growth here in Panama City.
Before we can invite or entice or assist new business, a quick story about an existing business. 24 years I've held a certified building contractor's license in Dade and an occupational license in Panama City. The bureaucracy and red tape of Panama City of late is, it used to take me 5 minutes at the former provider, EBCI, for my license to be renewed and registered. It took me 3 days with the help of a city employee who was making the entries for me. Every night I'd get an email and come back the next day because something was wrong. And then after my license was registered recently, what would take 3 to 4 days for a remodel permit took 4 weeks to get a remodel permit. I had to go down and visit with Jonathan Hayes, the city manager, and Mr. Fuller, the division chief over that division. Until we can invite business here, we have got to clean up, streamline, get rid of the red tape, and fix the bureaucracy in downtown Panama City. It is atrocious.
Thank you all. Let's give a round of applause. All right, and if you'll give us just a minute, we're going to swap it for the highly anticipated Panama City Day Oral Release. So give us just a minute. Feel free to get a drink or a snack while we wait.
Not really.
You're right on it. Live chat. Here we go. All right, that's a little better. Now it's not so hot.
They wouldn't let me in the dinosaur costumes. Maybe something.
Can you take this middle chair away? I just do half, yeah, you don't have to be like on top of it. You do the same thing.
I like standing up.
Are you sick? You're the most contrary person I hate. Is that your mind? It's all right here. We're gonna give y'all about another minute if you want to grab a snack or a drink or something. I love this snack break. Snack break. Zach,
We're gonna stand up. There's a thousand compass out there, and what am I doing to keep the whole thing?
Hey Daniel, will you turn it off tonight, probably? Will you test again?
Testing. I hear it.
Can you hear back there, Lisa? Is it Amy? Sarah,
Test.
all right, y'all ready? Everybody got their seat if you want one? They got the cowbell ready, so y'all better be prepared. Okay, and now for the final panel of the evening, the highly anticipated Panama City mayoral race. This race will play a pivotal role in shaping the city's future, and we appreciate the candidates for taking the time to share their vision with us. At this time, I'd like to invite Alan Branch and Mayor Mike Doc Rohan to join us at the front. Thank you both for being here tonight. We look forward to hearing your insights on the challenges and opportunities ahead for Panama City. Please go ahead with your introductions.
Oh, it's him out of the eyes. Awesome, more room to wrestle. I'm going first?
Yeah, with your introduction.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. My name is Alan Branch. 75 years of entrepreneurship my family has in this town. I grew up in St. Andrews. I live like 100 yards that way. History class, El Rio, the Sap House. Those are all businesses I co-own with my friends who are smarter than me. I surround myself with really smart people and build teams. I'm excited about tonight. Hoping to answer some questions for you and maybe tell you a joke. Thanks for coming.
I'm Mayor Doc Rowan, and am I starting or finishing?
Sorry, just restart it, sorry.
All right. Again, I'm Doc Rowan, Mayor of Panama City. And friends of mine, after I won the election last year, when I was getting ready to run again this year, they said, Doc, why bother? You won last year, you got everything straightened out, we're all good. And then I started looking around, we make a lot of bad decisions. And so here I am. We make bad decisions, I'm going to try to help straighten our city out. That's my goal.
All right, candidate Branch, the question number one is for you. Many young professionals are striving to build successful careers while also wanting to make a difference in their community. What advice would you offer to those looking to navigate the professional journeys while becoming more engaged in local leadership and civic initiatives?
Yeah, I was a young professional. I know this gray beard might confuse you, but I was 44. We moved back to Panama City when I was 36 years old, And I saw my property taxes, and I was like, where does my money go? And I started getting involved. And what I wish someone would have told me at that time is, Alan, we need people like you. We need you. Cities are desperate for younger people to be more involved in the process of collaboration, what's going on, what do we want in the town. They're desperate for those things. And no one ever told me that. I always felt like I was here to do work, and they're always like, shh, this is for the adults. And we kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I'm 44 now. Eventually, I opened up enough businesses to survive the process, but I always felt like I was a spark that they kept trying to put out, and I was never taken seriously. And I don't want that path for anyone else. I've been meeting with young professionals the past 8 weeks. I've got like 130 people under the age of 25 who own businesses that are pushing their careers and asking them, what do you want in your town? How do we keep people like you here? There's brain drain, where smart people leave your town. There's creative drain, where creative people leave your town. We want them to stay. Easy with the cowbell.
Absolutely. Many young professionals are striving to build successful careers while also wanting to make a difference in their community. What advice would you offer to those looking to navigate their professional journeys while becoming more engaged in their local leadership and civic initiatives?
Well, it starts with education. I think we have good schools. We have pretty great schools here in town. We've got the colleges, we've got Haney. So that's a good start. The other thing is you need a reason. And my reason was actually to save the Panama City Marina. We had developers here in 2017 that wanted to put hotels, they wanted parking garages, $200 million they were going to waste. That got me very much engaged, and I started going to city commission meetings. And I think, as Daniel said earlier, city commission meetings are where it's happening. And quite frankly, I don't care if you're old or if you're young. I want you on my side. I want to make the best of Panama City. And I think us oldsters have just as many good ideas as you kids. And I've got kids, and I respect them, and I expect the same from me. So thank you.
All right, Mayor Rohan, we're going to start with you. With Bay County experiencing significant growth, how do you plan to balance development while ensuring infrastructure, such as roads, utilities, and schools, keeping pace with expansion?
We've had problems with no infrastructure being built by certain families that ran this town for about 50 years. And so we are way, way behind on infrastructure. We can never catch up in my lifetime even. So my theory would be we have to figure out which roads are the worst, and we have to start working on them. And heat maps were done by the city, and using these heat maps, we are supposedly working on the roads that are the worst. But I think we need to have a priority, and we need to tell the whole community what the priority is, so you know when your road's going to get fixed, or you know that maybe you weren't a good citizen and maybe your road's not going to get fixed. But at the same time, I think people need to know, but we have a tremendous infrastructure problem here. It's not solvable in our lifetime. But when we waste money, like on Harrison Avenue, narrowing the road when we didn't have to do it, that slows us down. That money could have been used elsewhere, could have done a good job somewhere else. So we got to be smarter also. Realizing...
Awesome. Can you repeat the question?
Yes. With Bay County experiencing significant growth, how do you plan to balance development while ensuring infrastructure, such as roads, utilities, and schools, keeping pace with expansion?
Yeah, when you get home tonight, Google Strong Towns. It's a blog that's written about creating a sustainable town. Not just sustainable with like stormwater, but financially too. Because you can't rush developments and not be able to pay for them later. But one of the amazing things that's happening that the city hasn't really communicated is we do have a heat map. And they went through and they surveyed all the stormwater and the sewer, and they said, where's the broken pipes? Where's the old clay pipes? Where are the lead pipes? And then they prioritized all those projects, and then Jay Trumbull Jr. went out and got us a credit line in the state of Florida called the State Revolving Fund for $150 million. It's a 0% interest loan with 25% of the money forgiven. And the next 2 years will be over $100 million in infrastructure, water, sewer, roads, sidewalks, a massive amount of work. We need to communicate when those roads are going to be coming out and what the priority is. Because as I knock on doors, people say, when's that pothole getting fixed? And then I have to email the public works director to get the answer. It shouldn't be that hard. The information's out there. We just need to get it to citizens.
All right, candidate Branch, this question is for you. If elected, what would be your strategic plan for your first term? What key initiatives or priorities would you focus on to drive meaningful progress for Panama City?
Yes, I want to benchmark spending. So in the restaurant and brewing industry, we have industry benchmarks. We know things like labor should be about 30% of top line revenue. And cities and businesses, when you start, we benchmark spending of other people. What do you spend on insurance? Cities don't really do that. They should be doing more of that, which means we go out to cities of comparable size to us and say, what do you spend on these services? How many acres of service area do you have? What is the capital? How much is your population? And then we can see where innovation is. Innovation is actually in people who spend less money than us. We go, hey, city that spends less money than us, how do you do that? How do you provide that service, but more affordably than we do? So is that communication? Is that budget? Is that transparency? I don't know what that is, but one of my main objectives is benchmarking our city spending against other cities of comparable size. Because I go to other cities and I go, how come they got this cool stuff in that city and we don't? So I want to know if we're having inefficient departments. Maybe we're spending too much. Maybe we don't have adequately funded departments. We don't really know that because we haven't benchmarked our spending.
Question again?
If re-elected, what would your strategic plan for your first term be? What key initiatives or priorities would you focus on to drive meaningful progress for Panama City?
Well, our problem in Panama City, if you look at our treasurer's report, we have about 2% general revenue percentage, and the government accounting office recommends 16%. So at the end of this fiscal year, we're in big trouble. We're nearly bankrupt. So what do? You quit spending money that you didn't need to spend. Chestnut Avenue is a good idea. We spent over $1 million on a piece of property that we didn't need. So I would quit the reckless spending. We've had an abundance of reckless spending. Then the other thing I would do, I would go to the economic development for the county. I forgot her name at the moment, but I would clone her and I would bring her over to the city. We need economic development. We don't have any economic development whatsoever. I've been down there 2 years. Nothing positive has happened in the way of economic development. So we need to have something happen. We need to make money and we need to quit spending money. We don't need to go anywhere else and look at any other town. We got all our problems right here and all of our solutions are right here also.
All right, gentlemen, our final question of the evening, and Mayor Rohan, we're going to start with you. City projects play a major role in shaping our community's future, but young professionals often want more transparency about how and why certain initiatives are prioritized. How do you plan to effectively communicate the decision-making process behind city projects and ensure the public stays informed?
I'm not sure that's possible, but at the same time, communication is huge. It's a big problem, but you can come to the city commission meetings. You got 3 minutes to talk. You can email all of us down there, and you can even come visit City Hall and talk about it. But I think transparency, finding out where we're going, I think that's extremely important. I think sometimes I've talked to companies that don't want to come to town and they don't want to bid on projects because somebody favored in the city has already got the project. So we need to open the town up, and I think when the town is open and we can see what's going on, hey, we're a great town and we're doing fairly well. We're under a big rock from the hurricane and COVID, but we're going to bounce back. I think President Trump's going to help us come back. I think the future is very bright for Panama City. We just need to stay the course, fix the infrastructure. We can't do it all, but we're going to nibble at it a little bit at a time.
Can you repeat the question?
City projects play a major role in shaping our community's future, but young professionals often want more transparency about how and why certain initiatives are prioritized. How do you plan to effectively communicate the decision-making process behind city projects and ensure the public stays informed?
Yes, communication happens two ways. You either have to invite people in or go to them, right? So inviting in would be constantly asking and engaging people, saying, there's a workshop coming. Here's how you can play a role in shaping these projects. Or, hey, here's a city commissioner meeting, digestible amounts. City commissioner meetings are currently 7 hours. No one has time to watch a city commissioner meeting. But other cities are doing things like Instagram. Ever heard of it? I have. What you do on Instagram is you promote what you're working on to younger people, right? Whatever that is. And you engage them in the comments. What do you think about this? Look on my Instagram account. You see how I'm engaging people about what do you want to see at the mall? over 44,000 views on that video talking about the mall. That's me engaging the public saying, what do you want to have in the mall? So you can do it one of two ways. Come to meetings, those are great, but some people are busy, some people have kids. When you put out content, that lady.
That wraps up our questions for tonight. Let's give a round of applause. If all the candidates that are still here will make their way up to the front, we do want to take a big group photo. Okay. And everybody who put on the popcorn movement, I don't know what you're saying.
Everybody for a group photo.
Oh, we want everyone for a group photo, not just certain people, all of you. Make your way up here. Well, while we're doing that, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and to all the candidates. I want to extend our appreciation to all of you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here, and all the young professionals that are here. So thank you.
Quick side note, the NAACP is hosting an event this Thursday at Rosenwald. It's going to be something similar to the candidate, so we'd also like for you guys to go out and support them as well. And if everybody in the audience would like to join us for a photo, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's okay.
Did you want me to do my top spots?
Don't be scared, we need you on the photo. Oh, by height.
By height.
Where's Anna?
Anna.
Come on, Anna. All right.
Brittany, Christopher, Derek. We need a group photo. All of you guys are welcome to be in it.
Oh, we're